Hey traders, Raghee here, and as a follow-up to yesterday's free video, you can check it out at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. And based on some questions that we've been getting in the Charts and Coffee pre-open show, that again, you can also check out at 9 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. One of the questions that keeps coming up is, Rag, when do we no longer buy the dips? Now, yesterday I talked about, yes, it's okay to buy the dips. And where do we emphasize this mostly? Well, in the two corners of the market at the broader index level, where we have a more supported uptrend, and that's the Nasdaq and that's the S&P. Now, I will say there's a couple things that I'm noting about the S&P right now, and namely, it's the transition to yesterday's session, Monday, and today's session, Tuesday, where we've gone what's known as yellow over yellow, or double yellow, where the 8, 13, 21, and 34 EMAs are now becoming basically tangled, not necessarily in that high probability uptrend, but not a short yet either. Let's talk about this. If the previous trend was clearly and for a long duration, and we're talking many months here, moving with a great double green, green over green structure, and then just two sessions go a little bit neutral. That's what the yellow denotes. This is not a time to short, but rather a time to be a little bit more patient and conservative about where the lows that are getting put in could establish support and movement to the upside. We've seen blue grab candles before. We've seen deeper pullbacks within the wave before, but this is the first time that it's happening with the yellow structure on the JT multi. This JT multi is so important to understand what kind of environment we're dealing with. So this is a different pullback in the S&P, but it's not a downtrend. It's not a market that we short yet. It is a market that's looking more neutral. Okay, now think about the weighting of the Nasdaq and what kind of sectors and what kind of stocks we're dealing with. We're dealing with tech, XLK, XLC, XLY. Well, the corner of the market that the S&P and the Nasdaq share is that XLK, is that Apple and that Microsoft connection. By the way, that extends out into the Dow as well. So if the Nasdaq starts heading higher, and as long as healthcare and financials can at least level out in the volatility, it's very likely the S&P is going to move with the Nasdaq. But the big if is understanding those sectors. Now in the premium video, I'm going to dive a little bit more into that as far as understanding those sectors, as far as understanding the impact of healthcare and financials on the S&P, and where the Nas and the S&P could sort of start to change in terms of the S&P not tracking with the Nas quite as much. All right, so then that brings us to the Dow. And that gets us to when are we no longer looking to buy dips? Now, when we look at the Dow, you might say, well, gosh, it's yellow too. Yes, but the big difference between the S&P yellow and the Dow is, number one, the Dow's been moving sideways for about 3 sessions longer. And it was moving sideways for a good bit of summer, unlike the S&P. So the S&P's uptrend was more steady and set. However, here's the big difference, and it's with the grab candles. Notice the red grab candles that have begun plotting on the Dow. We do not have these on the S&P. So when you start to see the yellow lower row of the JT multi now accompanied by red grab, this is where there's a little bit more weakness. This is where we are moving more into distribution. And when the distribution starts, that's where the chop is the way we would describe what's happening. And then we might see one of two patterns. And we'll get into these two patterns a little bit more in the premium video. But one is a 1, 2, 3, a Dow 1, 2, 3. The other one is just basically an M pattern that is very similar to 1, 2, 3 or double top. So they're very similar. They just look a little bit different in terms of what they're showing us with the swing highs and swing lows. So we start to look at this as a potential 1, 2, 3. And that's where the neutral market, having a little bit more bearish momentum. Look at the top row of the JT multi. Look at the last 4 red grab candles there. That red and this red here are telling us hey, this is a different market. And of course, it's weighted differently. YM is primarily financials and tech. These are your number 1 and number 2 weighted sectors within the Dow. So if financials and tech, especially financials starts moving higher, well, this Dow may not break down. So keep that in mind. However, with structure here is showing us a little bit of a precursor to potentially looking for shorts if one of the 2 patterns that we're looking for forms. And I'm not even going to think about a potential move to the downside until I have about 8 to 10 red grab candles in a row. So a lot of folks have asked, okay, Rag, we get that in the double greens, you want to buy the dip. We get that, you're looking bullishly in the NAS and the S&P, in XLRE, XLU, XLK. We get the buy the dip, but how can we get some cues into when that is not valid? And this is how we do it. Grab candles and that JT multi. So think about the sectors that you've been looking at that might be going yellow and have red grab candles accompanying that shift. That's where you want to put those names off the double green, great, strong uptrend list. And you want to put them on a little bit more of a cautiously bullish list. All right. Not quite on the downtrend list yet, but a little bit more cautiously bullish. Keep that in mind. The grab candles and a number of these tools, not all of them, but a number of the tools are available over at countdowntrader.com. So if you want to put the grab candles on your chart, propulsion, the original Darvis, those are available for download over there. And this is how I'm using them. All right. So, and if you are interested in the indicator bundle, which is all the indicators that you see on this screen right now, we just finished the live trading, but you can check this out at Raghee Workspace bundle. And now that I believe is going to come with the replay of the live trading days, where I explain how to use these end of day and intraday and how to get these on your trading view and think or swim charts. All right, so that's the video update for today. Leave your comments, leave your questions below. I do personally answer and check them out. Leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down. Just tell me what you'd like to see, and we do our best to appease. Okay. All right. Have a great one. I'll talk with you soon. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.